Your heart ceases beating. A moment ago, it was rhythmically pumping blood through your veins, and then silence. It happens instantaneously, effortlessly. We've entered second zero. What unfolds across the following minute represents something science is only recently comprehending, because research suggests that the instant of death might constitute the peak of your brain's entire existence. Let's trace back to the start. The initial occurrence when cardiac function terminates appears inconsequential, at least nothing registering as sensation. Your circulatory pressure collapses to nothing. Those 5 liters circulating moments before now sit motionless. Without a functioning heart, circulation ceases. But your brain hasn't received the memo. Throughout the first 10 seconds, your brain continues utilizing whatever oxygen remains within your bloodstream. Neural activity persists. Conscious thought continues. You fundamentally remain unchanged. However, this window narrows rapidly. Approximately 10 seconds have elapsed. A shift occurs. Your brain, the body's most oxygen-dependent component, requiring about 1/5 of your oxygen supply continuously, recognizes the interruption in delivery. The cerebral cortex, managing conscious awareness, initiates shutdown. For most individuals, consciousness fades here. Visual perception ceases. Auditory input stops registering. Externally, you've vanished. Yet internally, something profoundly different might transpire. In 2023, neuroscientist Jimo Borgigana from the University of Michigan unveiled findings that reshaped understanding of mortality. Her research monitored brain patterns in 4 comatose patients transitioning off life support. The prediction involved gradual neural decline, like electronic equipment powering down. That wasn't their discovery. In half the patients, immediately upon oxygen deprivation, something unexpected happened. The brain ignited. An enormous gamma wave surge penetrated the entire brain. These gamma waves, associated with consciousness, acute perception, memory activation, and dream states, flooded the neural landscape. This wasn't chaotic activity. It displayed order and structure concentrated within the temporoparieto-occipital junction previously implicated in disembodied sensations and visual comprehension. Borgigana's assessment was blunt. The phenomenon was, and I quote, extraordinarily intense. Here we must stop, because this junction of neuroscience and something far more enigmatic emerges. For generations, individuals resurrected from cardiac death have articulated encounters strikingly analogous to what this neural explosion might generate. Luminous visions, sensations of hovering beyond oneself, tranquility so profound it transcends description. Then comes the personal retrospective. You've certainly encountered your entire life passes before your eyes. Most suppose it means significant milestones, your marriage ceremony, your child's birth, accomplishments and victories. But survivors insist it operates differently. It's not the significant instances, it's the unremarkable ones. Pedaling a bicycle during childhood, sitting at work reviewing messages on an unremarkable Wednesday, a cream-colored feline on staircase steps you don't recall. That last example happened. A man brought back following cardiac death reported witnessing a cream-colored feline on staircase steps during his experience. The recollection eluded him. He possessed no memory of that location. Upon stabilization, he depicted the staircase, the residential space configuration, and the animal to his parent. She disclosed they inhabited that structure with that identical staircase, adjacent to an apartment owner with a cream-colored feline. He was merely 14 months old upon relocation. This presents an enigma neuroscience cannot currently solve. Do we retain every single recollection? Absolutely everything? Does the expiring neural system in its concluding activity surge somehow retrieve the complete collection? Nobody knows. The neural readings suggest something extends beyond mere cessation. Let's redirect to the corporeal form. While your brain potentially glows brilliantly, the remainder fades. Approximately 30 seconds following cardiac arrest, blood fails to transport oxygen anywhere. Your cells, numbering 37 trillion, recognize the absence. They transition from oxygen-dependent respiration to anaerobic respiration. This emergency response produces vitality but simultaneously generates lactic buildup. Your musculature, bereft of neural instructions, totally releases. Your mouth falls open. Your eyelids lose their grip. Standing upright is no longer feasible. Collapse occurs. Your iris enlarges and locks in position. The optical muscles controlling iris diameter surrender. Your visual organs, structurally present, transform into mere optical instruments with nobody observing. Or perhaps not. Here emerges another unusual element. Dr. Samuel Parnia, a cardiac arrest researcher affiliated with New York University, has dedicated over 20 years investigating consciousness during cardiac dysfunction. His aware examinations, unparalleled in breadth, evaluated hundreds of cardiac arrest cases throughout 25 medical facilities. The conclusions resist dismissal. In the aware, two investigation, released in 2023, nearly 40% of cardiac arrest patients who recovered reported some degree of consciousness awareness when they were medically deceased. Approximately one-fifth narrated what specialists term a structured consciousness experience during death. Organized mental activity, vivid recollections, conscious sensation. Roughly 3% described complete sensory and auditory consciousness. Vision and hearing capabilities existed. Meanwhile, their hearts weren't functioning, and their brain displayed no measurable activity to observers. A recurring account emerges, feeling accompanied. Survivors describe encountering a deceased individual, a grandparent, mother, sibling, an individual seemingly positioned to encounter them. Some recounted being advised it wasn't yet their moment. Others described guidance through passage. Whether this reflects the neural system generating a final, soothing deception or constitutes something entirely different remains unanswered. However, the evidence communicates clearly. For most people, the dying process isn't excruciating. It's not ominous. It's not hollow. It's overwhelmingly comforting. New paragraph. Following the first minute as we transition into the second and third minutes, your biological processes continue their descent into irreversibility. Your cells, starved of oxygen, accelerate their self-destruction cycle. The acid accumulation intensifies within your tissues, weakening cellular boundaries further. Your organs begin experiencing dysfunction in cascading sequence: liver, kidneys, lungs, each one recognizing the impossible circumstance they're facing. Yet interestingly, researchers have documented that if revival efforts commence even at this stage, some tissues retain the capacity to regenerate. The boundary between reversible and permanent damage remains surprisingly ambiguous. Your body exists in a peculiar condition, neither wholly functioning nor completely defunct. It's a biological holding pattern, a threshold where the machinery of life continues its mechanical operations even as the consciousness that once directed it has departed or transformed into something entirely different. The question becomes not merely whether your body can be revived, but whether the entity that awakens will be the same being that lost consciousness in the initial seconds.